G'day guys, welcome to my RXY's V2 video. Today I'm going to be talking to you guys about NRL Round 3 recap preview for 2020 guys, so let's get started. So the first match of this game, we see the Broncos going up against the Parramatta Eels. Now this game was absolutely fantastic. I enjoyed this game. Pretty much it was a crucial match, playing into that like, I'd say like that game of that round. But that game was absolutely like amazing. It was just entertaining to watch. It wasn't boring. It wasn't like kind of crucial like match, who was going to win or who was going to lose. But I know for a fact that I obviously went for my Parramatta Eels because I obviously am a Parramatta Eels fan. So is Entertain Us, because me and Entertain Us are Parramatta Eels fans. And also the Parramatta Eels obviously played really well. They played with their heart out. A lot of this is just absolutely came with their absolute feedback. A lot of communication happened there. A lot of feedback happened, and a lot of like things happened where a lot of tries has just gone through, and the only try from the Broncos was Brady Croft, and the Broncos didn't really play as much football as they were because a lot of it was Parramatta Eels, because obviously the Eels got so much ball whereas the Broncos didn't. But I did go for the Parramatta Eels by 8 points, and they obviously won by so much points. So it was obviously 34 points to 6, and this game was obviously a very crucial match, but it was definitely a hard game. I definitely was going to take the Broncos because usually last time they played up against Broncos, it was up at Suncorp Stadium, but they obviously did play up at Suncorp Stadium. But when they played up against Suncorp Stadium, they obviously lost against the Broncos, and Broncos came up on top and obviously won that game. But then the Eels fight back and obviously came with the win, so that means 34 points to 6 was the score, and the Eels took home away with the win anyway. But what I can say about it is Mitchell Moses played absolutely really well. Clint Gutherson played really well. So did Dylan Brown. Reid Marnie absolutely played horrendously well. A lot of players played really well into that game, but I also took the Parramatta Eels by 8 points, and yeah, they took this win by an absolutely big win. And yeah, they fought to themselves very hard, and credit to the Parramatta Eels by so many points. And yeah, they obviously played really well, and they just embarrassed the Broncos by so much points. It was obviously 34 points to 6 anyway, and they obviously took that win by a very good win anyway. The next game of this round, we see the new North Queensland Cowboys going up against the Gold Coast Titans. Now this game was absolutely very great game, another big win for the Cowboys. They obviously took home with an absolute embarrassing win up against the Titans, and Titans obviously just didn't play really well. They obviously are a very terrible team, and from my perspective, they need to win every single game because with this new coach, I'm just going to say this. From my perspective, I'm going to say that a lot of things are just going to restructure. Hopefully they will. And then when this coach is going to be a very hard coach to obviously coach a lot of these players, I'm just going to say there has to be a lot of structure going into that squad. And Tyrone Roberts from number 1 and Philip Sami in number 5, it's just terrible. I reckon from my perspective, who was there? Anthony Don played, like, he's a great player. But Brian Kelly doesn't suit the number 2. I reckon, yeah, it's probably hard to say, but anyway, let's move on and carry on with this. So it was obviously a 36 points to 6 win, and the Cowboys just embarrassed the bloody Titans, and Titans are just terrible because they don't concede any points, and I really do think that this game's going to be a lot of terrible things happening for Titans, and they're just going to embarrass themselves, and they need to find structure into their squad because otherwise they're just going to be losing every single game, and they're just going to fall down onto the bottom of the ladder, and they're just going to get the wooden spoon, I reckon, each year anyway. Unless if they can pull themselves through, they pull their socks off and just need to find a lot of form. Because if they don't find a lot of form, they don't find a lot of good players, I'm just going to say this. You guys are terrible. You guys are terrible. But anyway, what a great game it was for the Cowboys. Valentine Holmes played really well. Jason Tamalolo played really well. Ben Hampton played really well. Justin O'Neill played really well also too because he even scored a try, and plus Ben Hampton scored a try. And also Michael Morgan didn't play too, which was very hard to say that. But anyway, it was a 36 points to 6 win, and I obviously went for the Cowboys by 6 points, and they obviously took home with the win, and they got the job done completely by so many points. And I'm just going to say, well done to the Cowboys for making this win up against the Titans anyway. The next game of this round, we see the Roosters going up against the Rabbitohs. Now, these two sides are very hard teams to beat. Rabbitohs are not very hard team to beat because a lot of their players don't really play their good game of football, but I just don't think that this game was just very crucial for their squad. But Latrell Mitchell obviously played really well, but I'm just going to say this. For Latrell Mitchell getting accused of being fullback and going into their thing, he is just trying his heart out. He is just trying his heart out and just summarising how the way he wants to play his fullback side. But if he wants to play centre, he can play centre. Like, literally, just move on with this criticism like stuff. It's just really annoying, and every time I keep hearing Latrell Mitchell doing this, doing that, it's just so annoying, and people like that need to stop bloody being so disrespectful to other players, and really it's just so difficult on them defining their good spirit of football, and really it's just going to be really hard on it, and I just don't think that Latrell Mitchell is going to cope with so many people like criticising about him, and it's just not right. But anyway, let's move on. I'm just going to say this, like, Roosters played really well. It was 28 points to 12 scoreline. Absolutely played wonderful football. And I just got to say this, Luke Keary played his heart out, and he obviously played really well, which I consider a well-done player. And also, too, James Tedesco played really well. Plus, he also scored a try, which was fantastic for him. And also for other players though too, I just think the Rabbitohs played really well, but they didn't play enough structure as they were going to play. But I did tip the Roosters though by 10 points, and they obviously get the job done up against the Rabbitohs anyway. But they are a great team, two of the best sides in the comp, and I reckon these two sides will definitely be the great teams in the career for 2020 anyway, and I just think that these two teams will go a long way to win the grand final, or if they win the preliminary final, or go along with the career anyway. But I'm just going to say this, I took the Roosters by 10 points. A lot of these players played really well for the Roosters, and I'm just going to say this, well done to the Roosters for getting this job done, and for a win, and for a big win for their home team, and up against the Rabbitohs anyway, which I'm considered very much proud of myself anyway. The next game of this round, we see the Warriors going up against the Dragons. Now, this team was, like, the Warriors just played really well. They came up on top and they came out firing. And I just think, though, Jermaine Tour-Brown was absolutely, like, on fire today. Like, on that day when the game against the Dragons, he obviously scored on Saturday, like last Saturday, I'm saying. And what I can say about it was absolutely well done to the Warriors to make that win up against the Dragons. And Dragons didn't play really well because they obviously was going like that. And really, I just think that what I can say about the Dragons, though, is I really do hope they find their form next week up against the Bulldogs. And if they do, they're probably going to, like, say, we need to win a game of football. We can't just lose 3 games in a row. We need to win 1 game. If they win 1 game, it's going to be 3 up against 1 anyway. So 3 and 1. So 3 losses and 1 win anyway. So that means for the Warriors, though, great job up against the Dragons, and I could not say anything better for myself. I did go for the Dragons by 8 points, and it was a disappointing win to say that it was 18 points to 0. No tries going to Dragons, and 3 tries going to the Warriors, and I just could not say that anything better than myself. I reckon that this game was absolutely sloppy match and really poor game, which I could not say anything better to myself, that Ben Hunt was just playing sloppy. And really, I cannot say anything better than myself, but Ben Hunt needs to find his form right and just needs to structure more. Because really, every time I see Ben Hunt play, he is just playing terrible. And I know a lot of Dragons fans are going to be like hating me for saying this, but he sucks. Like, literally, he sucks 100%. And someone needs to get replacement for him, because he is just not finding his form right. And every time he plays, he's always injured. He's always like bloody running with the ball, and then next minute he limps with his leg, or he's just playing with the wrong attitude and then obviously making errors for his team. But what I can say about it is, Dragons are just needs to find their form up against the Bulldogs if they want to win a game. But if they do, they need to find their structure right, because they need to win like an absolute like footy game of football. But it was obviously an 18-0 win. No tries for the Dragons, but 3 tries for the Warriors. And good job for the Warriors for making that win anyway up against the Dragons. And I could not say anything better to myself, but well done for the Warriors for making that win up against the Dragons anyway. The next game of this round, we see the Sharks going up against the West Tigers. Now, this game was absolutely horrendous. Wonderful game of football. I just think that this game just took it to a new level, and really, the West Tigers came up on top and just smashed the bloody Sharks. And I reckon that this game was absolutely really like a really entertaining match. And I just think that this game was just absolutely crazy. But for this game, though, what I can say about it is absolutely crucial game of football, and I just think that this game was just absolutely crazy because West Tigers just came up on top and obviously took home with the win. 28 points to 16 the scoreline was, and it was just crucial for this game because I wasn't sure if the Sharks were going to win that game or the West Tigers were going to win that game. But I think for my mind is West Tigers were going to win, and that means that I took this tip by West Tigers by 6 points, and they obviously won by 6. And I cannot believe that this game was absolutely like coming up on top and obviously took home with a win. But the West Tigers obviously played really well with I think David Norfoluma obviously scoring a try, which absolutely made a good try for himself. Who else? Like, you got Harry Grant played his NRL debut because he's like, I think he used to play for the Storm, but now he's playing for number 9 jersey for the West Tigers, and he obviously got a try up against the West Tigers, the Sharks. And yeah, I just think that this game was obviously really fun to watch, and I really do hope that the West Tigers have a wonderful career, because that means if they would have a wonderful career, I'm definitely going to say that West Tigers did a wonderful job up against the Sharks. Anyway. The next game of this match, we see the Storm going up against the Raiders. Now, these two sides, very hard teams to beat. Another two side, which was definitely like very hard teams to beat. Storm are very hard to beat, and plus the Raiders also too. But definitely for the Raiders, they came up on top, came out firing, and Jordan Rapana just came back to the rugby league, came back to the Raiders with the number 18 jersey, and obviously scored a try anyway. Well done for him anyway, and welcome back Jordan Rapana, number 18, to play for the Raiders anyway. I cannot believe that this game was absolutely fun to watch. 22 points to 6, and I knew for a fact that the Raiders were definitely going to get the job done up against the Melbourne Storm, because Melbourne Storm were just playing very good but didn't play well enough. But unfortunately though, the only try for the Melbourne Storm was Dale Finucane, number 13 for the Melbourne Storm, and he obviously played really well anyway, which I considered one of the most goodest locks for the Melbourne Storm anyway. He played really well for the Melbourne Storm anyway. So, what I can say about it is, I like the Raiders, and last time they beaten the Melbourne Storm was at Canberra Stadium, and then, no, I think it was either Amy Park or Canberra Stadium, but last time they did that, Josh Papali obviously scored the winning try up against the Melbourne Storm anyway, and they just took that winning try to another level, and I cannot believe that anyway. But what I can say about it is, I did pick the Raiders though by 10 points, and they obviously won this game for sure. And I knew for a fact, 100% correctly, that the Raiders were going to win that game. And I cannot believe it. From my doubt, I was just fuming. What I can say about it though, wonderful team and a wonderful game of football it was. But well done to the Raiders for making this win. 22 points to 6 anyway, the scoreline was. And I cannot believe the Raiders got the job done up against the Melbourne Storm anyway. The next game of this round, we see the Panthers going up against the Knights. Now, this game was just very hard for this one. I just think that this game was just very, very crucial. And what I can say about it was very hard to see which team was going to basically get a win. But it was a 14-14 draw scoreline, and plus, no one obviously won that. It was obviously a draw, and no one just basically kicked a field goal, a winning field goal, to make it either 15-14 or 14-15 or whatever. But really, this game was just pretty much alright, but none of these teams just took it out on top to make a win. And what I can say about it is, this team was just absolutely like fuming. Like, I did like the Panthers, but the Knights just played really well. And what I can say about it was, I thought to myself that the Knights were going to get a win. But then the Panthers were coming on top to make a win, but then they just didn't win a game. I really did think that this game was just basically going to go, oh yeah, like Panthers were going to get a win. But I did tip the Panthers though by 6 points. They obviously lost, but they obviously got the draw up against the Newcastle Knights anyway. But this team was just playing a really good game of football. Plus the Newcastle Knights played a good game of football, because you obviously got Tex Hoy, Bradman Best, Edric Lee, and so many others just played a very good game of football. And I did like Tex Hoy because he's obviously a great player, plus Edric Lee, plus Bradman Best, a former Woy Woy Jr. and a Central Coast player, and plus a lot of different other players from that Newcastle Knights squad. And I just think that this game was just very hard to beat, like see who was going to win. But I did tip to Panthers though by 6 points. They obviously didn't get the job done, and that also the Newcastle Knights didn't get the job done. It was a 14-14 draw in the scoreline, so that means they played really well, but they didn't win anyway for both teams. And last but certainly not least, we see the Manly Sea Eagles going up against the Bulldogs. Now, this team just came out on top, absolutely took home the win up against the Bulldogs. But the Bulldogs just didn't find their form. And I really considered a poor effort from the Bulldogs, because I thought for myself that the Bulldogs were going to get a win here, but they just played poor and they just didn't concede a lot of possessions and a lot of points and a lot of mishaps. But I just didn't really consider this game going by the Bulldogs going to get a win here. But then what I can say about it was a lot of these teams like Manly side were just coming out on top. The Manly team was just absolutely like coming home with the win, and they were just getting the job done up against the Bulldogs. It was a 32 points to 6 scoreline, and I cannot believe that the Manly Seagulls just keep scoring tries and absolutely hammering the Bulldogs. And it was obviously the embarrassing scoreline for them, and they would have been very, very, very disappointed for themselves, and I would consider like looking in the mirror and going, oh, we need to win a game up against the Dragons, and if we do, we have the power for our team. But then I would consider that for this team, for the Bulldogs, I like them because they are a great team, but for attacking, when they do attack, they attack very well, but the defensive is not very good. Because when I see them, their defense is not that great, but when they attack, they just play really well. And the style of play for them was just absolutely crazy. But then I obviously took the Manly Seagulls though by 8 points, and they obviously got the job done up against the Bulldogs anyway. So that means well done to the Manly Seagulls for getting this win, for getting the home win, and for getting this job done up against the Bulldogs anyway. Thanks guys for watching my video, guys. Stay tuned for more. I will be doing a couple of videos coming to you guys soon. Also, I'll be doing more videos coming to you guys soon, so stay tuned for more. Plus, leave a like and subscribe to my YouTube channel and for this video. And I'll see you guys in my next video. Till then, take care guys. Stay safe and have a good one. Plus, let's get up to 150 subscribers. We're sitting on 144 right now. So close. We just need a couple more subscribers to make up 150. So that means my goal is obviously reached, so that means we need to get up to 200 after 150 anyway. But until then guys, take care and have a good one.